I was 8 years old when I first realized the house breathed. Not in the way humans do, soft and rhythmic, and laced with oxygen. No, the house exhaled memories. The stairs groaned with each step as if coughing up things it had tried to forget. And the cellar. God, the cellar. It smelled like him. That coppery, sooty, oil and sweat smell. I swear it still lives in my throat. Even now, I carry it like an unwanted souvenir from a war I was too young to enlist in. The first time I opened this journal was after I found the photograph in the vent. A faded Polaroid of me, no more than 4, sitting on his lap, my eyes wide and unfamiliar like someone else had borrowed my face. He wasn't looking at the camera. He was looking at me like I was prey. Or maybe a mirror. It was hard to tell. I showed it to Mom. She turned the stove off before the soup boiled over, walked to the back porch and smoked 4 cigarettes without saying a word. When she came back inside, she slapped the photo out of my hand and said, "That's not him anymore, not anymore." So I started writing down every trace of him I could find. This book became my crime scene. This book became my map. They said he died in a fire, but I don't believe it. The first rot in my memory is from that night in the cellar. I remember the clink of the glass bottle he always kept near the water heater. I remember the smell of turpentine, even though I didn't know what it was called back then. I remember sitting on the steps, holding my breath, listening to him talk to things that weren't there. Or maybe he thought they were. He'd speak in long, broken sentences like someone narrating a movie only he could see. "They'll try to take you from me, you know," he'd whisper. "But I see it coming. Rotten things, they rot from the inside out. That's how you catch, that's how you survive them." And then, as if to comfort me, he'd press his rough palm against the top of my head. I can still feel the crack in his thumb, split open by winter work and never healing, drag across my scalp like a broken zipper. I used to think he loved me, true, that brand of fierce, wounded love only a father can offer. But love doesn't sound like nails driven into floorboards. Love doesn't hide knives under couch cushions. Love doesn't lock the door from the outside. They said he died in a fire, but I've seen his boots in the attic. It was last fall. I went up to find the Halloween decorations, and the light bulb blew out. In that blue-tinged, half-dark, something scraped across the floor like a dragged toe. I pointed my phone flashlight, heart doing that wild bird thing in my ribs. There they were, his boots. The left one still caked in something I couldn't name, something wrong. I didn't tell anyone. Mom doesn't talk about him anymore. She's good at not remembering. It's a kind of spell she casts on the whole house. She plays loud jazz when she cooks, hums to herself like static, and always keeps the basement door locked. The key hangs on a hook by the fridge, hidden behind an oven mitt shaped like a smiling chili pepper. Sometimes I take the key down and just hold it, like a rosary, like a threat. My sister Lucy doesn't remember much either. She was just a toddler when he died. She likes to say she's lucky, that she got out before he could plant anything dark in her. But she still flinches when men raise their voices. She still can't sleep unless the closet door is bolted shut. I keep this journal because I do remember, not clearly, not all the time, but in flashes, in smells, in the way certain shadows lean across the hallway at night. There was one night, it must have been before the fire, before the official story ended, when I woke up to the sound of my window opening. I wasn't scared, not at first. I thought maybe it was Mom, checking on me. But the smell that came in with the breeze, it wasn't her, it was him. That scorched earth cologne of sweat and sawdust, and wet pennies. I didn't open my eyes. I couldn't. He whispered something then, right next to my ear. I remember the warmth of his breath, the way it curled around my eardrum like a secret. He said, "They think I'm gone, but you know better, don't you?" I never told anyone about that, not even Lucy. Now years later, the dreams come harder, more vivid, more real. He shows up at the edge of them, just beyond focus, sometimes holding a hammer, sometimes a match. Always smiling, so I write. Every time I dream of him, I write. Every time I smell him in the walls, I write. When I found that squirrel gutted in the laundry room last winter, tail nailed to the wall like a trophy, I wrote. Mum said it must have been a cat, but we don't have a cat. This book is the only place I let it live, the only place he can't lie to me anymore. And if you're reading this, if you found this journal tucked beneath the second floorboard in my closet, exactly 5 rows down and 3 to the left, just know he's not dead, not really. He's in the house, and he's watching me. Last night the wallpaper peeled again. It always starts in the corner behind the dresser, like the house is trying to shrug something off. I could swear it makes a sound, slow, delicate, like flesh unsticking from old gauze. By morning it smoothed itself back down as if ashamed. But I saw it this time. I sat up, half asleep, and watched it curl away from the drywall like skin in humidity. There was something behind it. A word, scratched into the plaster. Liar. All caps, jagged, like someone used a key. I ran my fingers over it in the morning light, and felt splinters catch on my skin. I didn't write it. I would have remembered. I think. Mom's been humming again. A tune I don't know, a tonal, aimless, like wind chimes dropped down a well. She burned the toast and didn't even notice. Just stood there with the butter knife in her hand, looking out the window as if something was staring back. "Did you sleep okay?" I asked. She jumped, almost dropped the knife. "Fine," she said. "Just a dream." But I could see it in her eyes, the after it. She was somewhere else for a moment, somewhere before. I dreamed of him again too. I was back in the car with him, passenger seat, dusk outside. The windows were fogged from our breath, but I didn't remember getting in. He drove slow, humming the same nothing song Mom hums now. He had one hand on the wheel, the other gripping mine so tight my knuckles turned white. "Where are we going?" I asked. He didn't answer, just smiled. I looked down and saw blood blooming on his collar, soaking into the seatbelt. He said, "You never told them what I said, did you?" And I woke up with the taste of copper in my mouth. I tried to tell Lucy, but she was busy stuffing her headphones in, already late for class. She doesn't see the cracks in the wall, the shadows that don't belong. She's building a new life. She has a job, a boyfriend, a calendar with smiling fruit stuck to the fridge. But even she doesn't go into the basement. I unlocked the door today. I don't know why. The key was in my hand again, heavy as a dare. The stairs creaked like they remembered. It smelled worse than before, not just turpentine and mold. Something new, something wet. There was a chair down there, just one, center of the room, facing the boiler. And on the wall behind it, in thick, rust-colored smears, the word again, lie. I stumbled back, hit the shelf of paint cans, and a box of screws spilled across the floor like metal teeth. I didn't scream. I wanted to, but I didn't, because I heard him, from behind the furnace. Just a chuckle, low, familiar. He said, "You always lie, even now." I left the door unlocked. I don't know why. Maybe part of me wants him to come up. Maybe I want proof. Or maybe I just want to stop pretending the fire ended anything. The wallpaper peeled again tonight. More of it this time. Underneath another word, forgive. Same hand, same scratch. He's talking to me. Through the walls, through the floors, through the rot. He's building something, and I think he wants me to finish it. It's not the dreams anymore. It's the hours before them. That slow stretch of night when the house goes hollow. Every clock ticking out of sync. The air thick, like it's holding its breath. I sit up with the lamp on, pretending I'll read, pretending I'll write, but I do neither. I just listen. The mirror has started talking, not in words, not yet, but it ticks, it creaks. Something scratches faintly behind the glass, like claws tracing the silver backing. I checked for mice, for roaches. Nothing, nothing but dust and my own reflection, looking more like him every year. I used to think my eyes were Mom's. Now I see how wrong I was. I moved the mirror to the closet, but the scratching followed. Mom didn't go to work today. She just sat at the kitchen table with a pile of bills and a cup of black coffee she never drank. When I asked if she was okay, she whispered, "He's slipping in, just like before." Before what? Before the fire? Before Lucy was born? Before we had words for the things he did? She wouldn't look at me, just kept tracing a ring of sweat on the table with her pinky. "He said you saw him," she murmured. My mouth dried. I wanted to lie. I wanted to say no. Just dreams. Stress. The weather. But I couldn't. "I think he's still here," I said. She laughed. A short, sharp sound like a cough through a sob. "Of course he is. He never left." I don't know what she meant by that. I don't think she knows. That night, the lights flickered again. A power surge maybe. Or maybe a warning. The air smelled like pennies and melted plastic. I stood outside the bathroom, watching the mirror inside shimmer like a pool's surface in a thunderstorm. And then it cracked. A single line jagged down the center, like the house splitting its lip. I didn't scream. I just stared at my reflection, split in two. Behind me in the mirror, not the real hallway, but its version of it. I saw a figure walk past, tall, limping, one hand dragging along the wall. I turned. Nothing. But I smelled him. Oil, char, whiskey breath, and something raw. I went back to my room and locked the door, even though I knew locks don't work on things that belong to the walls. That night, I found a new word carved into the inside of my closet. Remember. Same scratch. Same pressure. I don't remember everything, but I remember the night Mom had a bruise that bloomed under her eye like a pressed violet. I remember how she said she fell, how he said nothing at all, how the silence rang louder than any scream. I remember the hammer. I remember hiding it. Today I went looking for it. Under the floorboard, 3 to the left from the closet vent, I found the shoebox. Inside, a note in my child handwriting. Keep safe, for later. The hammer was still there, heavy, warm, somehow. I set it on the bed, stared at it for an hour. Then I heard the mirror, a voice this time. Hoarse, crooked. It said, tell them what you did. I didn't answer. I couldn't, because I don't know what I did. But I know it's written in the walls, and the house wants me to remember. There's something wrong with the hallway light. It blinks when I walk past, but only when I'm alone. Not fast, just one slow pulse, like a dying eye. The bulb's new. I replaced it last week, hands trembling on the stepladder, but the blinking came back. Last night it didn't blink. It buzzed. Low, electric, like something trying to speak in a language made of static. I reached up, touched the wall beneath the switch. Warm. No, not just warm. Breathing. The wall inhaled. I haven't slept in 2 nights. I keep thinking about the voice in the mirror. The words scratched into the closet. Remember, as if memory is a punishment, as if remembering will unlock something that should have stayed buried. I hear his laugh now when the refrigerator hums. I smell him in the attic insulation. I wake up with splinters in my palms, even though my bed is soft. I asked Mom again about the fire, about what they told her. She wouldn't answer at first. Just took another one of those pills she thinks I don't know. She hides in her tampon box. Then she said, there was a fire, but it wasn't the first. That's all. She won't say more, won't look at me. Just keeps whispering things like she's talking to someone in the ceiling. Tonight I stood in the laundry room and stared at the vent where I found the Polaroid. I pulled it out again, studied it. Me on his lap, my mouth a tight line. His hand too close to my hip. Something's wrong with the picture. It changed. His eyes used to be looking down. Now they're looking at me. I dropped it, burned my fingertips picking it back up. It smelled like smoke, fresh smoke. I brought the hammer to bed, not for protection, for proof. I want to believe I hid it for a reason, that the younger version of me understood something I've spent years trying to unknow. But then tonight, I woke up to a sound like teeth grinding. The hammer was gone. I found it in the hallway, sitting upright on the floor right beneath the buzzing light, and above it on the wall, scratched deep into the plaster. You let it happen. Same scratch, same hand. I fell to my knees, pressed my forehead to the cool wood floor, tried to scream but no sound came out, because I did, didn't I? I let it happen, all of it. And the house remembers. It remembers the blood in the sink, the way he dragged the garden hose into the kitchen, the rope burn on the railing, the teeth we never found. It remembers the second fire, the one no one talks about, the one I started. I still don't know if he died in it, but the house knows. And tonight it whispered it to me, not in words, in heat, in the slow, terrible rhythm of its breath behind the dry wall. It whispered, not yet. It was Lucy who found the door. She'd come back to grab her charger, all nerves and half laughter, trying to pretend nothing here scared her anymore. But then she opened the linen closet in the upstairs hall and froze. I heard her breathing shift, a kind of gasp you don't release with your mouth, only your spine. What's this? She asked. I came up behind her and saw it, a door in the back of the closet, a door we'd never noticed. It was short, maybe 4 feet tall, and nailed shut with 4 iron spikes, thick and old, like something someone wanted to keep closed. Not forgotten. We didn't speak. We didn't have to. Lucy fetched the hammer. I held the flashlight. Together, we pulled the nails free. The air that came out when it opened wasn't stale. It was sweet, rotten sweet, like fruit that's collapsed into itself, like something buried in sugar and time. We stepped inside. The room was small, child-sized, wallpapered in yellow with faded blue horses galloping in endless circles. The light didn't work. My phone flashlight caught the dust as it stirred around our ankles like fog. There was a crib in the corner, empty, but the sheets were stained dark in the center. Old stains. And carved into the headboard, bad seed. Lucy turned and vomited. I didn't. I just stood there. The memory bloomed inside me like ink in water. I knew this room. This is where he kept me. Not always, but sometimes, when I cried, when I disobeyed, when I said no.
And this is where I watched him become something else. There was a second door on the far side, half size, no knob. Just a smear of soot around the frame. I touched it. The soot came off wet. Lucy wanted to leave. She was shaking. She kept muttering, "We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be here." Like a prayer or a spell. But I opened the second door, and inside it wasn't a room. It was a tunnel, crude, dirt-lined, reinforced with boards that had been scorched at the end, and the sound that came out was not air, not wind. It was breathing. His breathing. That slow, stuttered inhale. I remember from when he'd fall asleep drunk. Always too close. Always smelling like rage bottled up for later. I stepped in. Lucy screamed my name, but I stepped in, and on the tunnel wall, lit by the flashlight's final flicker before the battery died, I saw it scratched into the wood. "Come home." I don't remember how I got back to my room. Lucy says she found me in the hallway, curled up like a cat, clutching the Polaroid. I don't remember that either, but my feet were muddy, and my palm burned, like something grabbed it and held on too tight. The house is different now. It knows I remember. The buzz is constant. The vents breathe louder. The rot is sweeter. And last night, just before sleep took me, I saw him, in the mirror. Not a ghost. Not a memory. Him, smiling, holding the hammer, and behind him fire, crawling down the walls. But this time, it wasn't chasing him. It was following me.
The tunnel is sealed now. I didn't do it. Neither did Lucy. But when we went back, broad daylight, both of us armed with flashlights and excuses, it was gone. The yellow room was still there. So was the crib, the galloping horses, the smell of memory turned to vinegar. But where the tunnel had been, there was just drywall. Seamless, fresh. Lucy said maybe we imagined it. I wanted to agree, but my hand was still burned. There's something rotten under my skin. I can feel it. A crawling, a warmth that isn't fever. It moves. It breathes, like something he planted long ago, waiting. I woke up last night with my fingernails bleeding, scratches down my arms, across my chest, like I'd been trying to claw something out, or something had been trying to escape. Mom's changed. She barely speaks now. She just sits by the back window and watches the trees sway like they're whispering secrets. She keeps all the lights on, even the garage, even at noon. "Did he come to you again?" I asked. She flinched, not from the question, from the word he. "He's not a man anymore," she said. "He's not even a memory. He's mold. Once it's in, it doesn't come out." I think she's right. Because the house, it's different now. It feels like skin, like his skin. It sighs when I walk. It moans at night. It leaks. Last night, something dripped from the ceiling onto my face. I touched it. It was warm. Red. I followed the drip trail to the attic. It took me 30 minutes to work up the nerve. Lucy begged me not to. She cried this time. Real tears. She said I wasn't her brother anymore. Said something was looking through me when I spoke. I didn't argue, because part of me agreed. The attic door was unlocked. Inside, nothing. Then I saw it. The burned room. Not physically burned. No, but scorched in the way a dream can be. Blackened corners. Light bulbs flickering like candle stubs, ash where insulation should be. In the center a cot, and on the wall above it, painted in thick, wet strokes. As if just done one word. Hatchling. I don't know what it means, but it terrified me more than anything I've ever read. There was something under the cot. A notebook. Not mine. His. I've only read the first page. I can't bring myself to read more. It says, "The seed. Took. I put it where she wouldn't see. He'll grow true, he'll grow clean, he'll burn away what I couldn't." It's dated February 7th, 1998. That's my birthday. I'll keep going when I can. But something's waking up now, and I think it's me. I read the rest of the notebook. I shouldn't have. I know that now. But something in me, curiosity, obsession, hunger, drove my hands even as the rest of me recoiled. It wasn't just a record. It was a blueprint. He wrote like a man possessed, or guided. Page after page of rituals, symbols, sketches of bodies in states of becoming, of molting. There were instructions, diagrams of what to feed the thing he'd grown, and always he referred to it the same way. My son, not me. Something else. Something made from me. I confronted Mom. I didn't plan to. I just walked downstairs holding the notebook like it was still hot, the pages trembling in my fingers. She took one look and turned pale. Where did you find that? The attic. She put both hands to her mouth and sobbed. I told him to bury it. I told him we'd never. She stopped. She didn't look at me, couldn't. What am I? I asked. She shook her head. What am I? She whispered it like a confession. Not just you. I left the house, walked until my legs gave out. My body felt wrong, like my bones were shifting under my skin, trying to find a new shape. That night I dreamed in third person. I watched myself sleep, mouth open, whispering in tongues, my voice layered over his, like we were speaking from the same throat. And I felt it again, the thing inside me, coiled, patient. He called it the hatchling. The mirror is gone. Just gone. Frame bolts, the wall behind it perfectly untouched like it never existed. In its place something left a message scrawled in ashes, time to spill. Lucy left. She packed in silence. No hug, no goodbye. She said, if you follow me I'll call the police. I don't blame her, because I found the teeth in my pillowcase, tiny, baby teeth, not mine. Still bloody. I tried to throw them away but my hands wouldn't open, like my body knew better, like something deeper had claimed them. I speak in his voice now sometimes. I record myself in the dark, and when I play it back, I hear two voices overlapping. One is me, the other is someone I buried. The house won't let me leave. Every exit leads back to the basement door, even the window. I smashed one, climbed out and woke up in the laundry room, holding the hammer, hands wet with something slick. I looked in the washing machine. There was a heart in it, still beating. I think the hatchling is here now, and I think it wants out. The basement door is breathing again. I stood in front of it this morning, watching the paint blister and pulse, inhaling that humid rot that smells like old paper and something worse, birth, maybe, or decay. It sighed when I touched the knob, and in my head I heard his voice, clear as if he was whispering behind my ear. Ready? I'm not. But I turned the knob anyway. The stairs weren't wood this time. They were flesh, not slippery, not wet, just soft, giving. And the handrail throbbed beneath my grip, like a pulse trapped under floorboards. The light was already on. He was sitting in the chair, not a ghost, not a memory, not the man from my dreams. But not alive, either. His body was burned, peeled, warped with ash and time, but his eyes were sharp, alive, as if whatever was inside had crawled back into the husk and put on his skin like a costume. He looked at me, tilted his head, grinned. There you are. I couldn't move. You're bigger than I thought, he said, but still mine, still growing. I wanted to ask what he meant, but then the walls began to peel. Slow strips curling down like they'd grown tired of pretending to be wood, underneath skin, pale, veined, twitching. It wasn't a basement anymore, it was a womb, and I was inside it. He rose, joints cracking, skin flaking. He limped forward, hand out. Come now, time to molt. I ran, but the stairs led back to the same place, over and over, always back to the soft room, the breathing walls, the scorched cot. I fell, crawled, screamed, and then silence. When I woke, I was in my bed. Morning light, birds, the sound of the neighbor's lawnmower. But something had changed. There was blood under my fingernails, and on the ceiling above my bed, written in perfect script, "You're the room now. I don't know what's happening. I hear things inside me, cracking, shifting, like bones trying to remember a different shape. I'm scared to sleep. I'm scared to stay awake, because when I look in the mirror now, I see the room behind me, the crib, the fire, him, smiling, and I'm smiling back. There are no more mirrors in the house. I smashed the bathroom one yesterday. The others vanished. All of them, even the shards dissolved into dust, and the dust slithered into the vents like it knew where it was going. I haven't seen my face in 3 days, but I hear it. Every time I open my mouth, something else speaks through me. Yesterday it said, "She's next." I think it meant Lucy. I tried to call her. The phone only played back my own breathing, but it wasn't in sync. My breath, and then another, deeper rattling lagging behind, like an echo that doesn't know when to stop. Mom is gone. Just gone. No trace, no note. Her purse is still here. The kitchen light is still on. Her coffee was still warm, but her chair, the one by the window, is wet with sweat, or something thicker, and written in condensation on the glass pane behind it. "You're almost ripe." I haven't slept. I don't need to. Something inside me is feeding. I feel it swelling against my ribs, chewing marrow like candy.
I can taste metal in the back of my throat when I talk. I coughed up a tooth this morning. It wasn't mine. The house sings now. It hums through the pipes. It clicks through the floorboard. At night it tells stories in tongues I shouldn't understand, but I do. They're his stories, the ones he used to whisper when he thought I was asleep, about the second skin, the first fire, the thing beneath the roots. He wasn't just sick. He was preparing me. I remember everything now. The second fire wasn't an accident. I lit it. I watched him burn, and I smiled. Because he told me to. Because it was part of the plan. Because it was how you hatch something. This house is the shell, the first skin. And I'm the crack in it. There's a hole behind the furnace now, wider than before, breathing louder. Hot wind comes through it, scented like old meat and sugar. Last night I heard someone crawling up. Something with fingers. I should be afraid, but I'm not. I'm hungry. And the house tells me this: when you take her heart, you'll finally be whole. I think I'll visit Lucy tomorrow. It's done. The thing inside me has no more room to grow. I woke this morning to silence so dense it made the walls swell. The house held its breath, waiting, and in the dark beneath the floorboards, something shifted. A long, dragging sound, like nails being drawn across stone, or ribs bending open. I stood in front of the furnace. The hole behind it isn't a hole anymore. It's a mouth. It opened, and from it came me, not a reflection, not a twin, not even a brother. It was me without the doubt. Me without the memory, me with his voice, and her eyes and the rot baked into every bone. He smiled. I smiled back. Then he said, "Let's finish the last one." Lucy opened the door for me. She didn't scream. She knew something was wrong the moment she saw me, but she let me in. Habit, hope, love still clinging to her like static. I told her I just wanted to talk. I told her Mom left. I told her the house misses her. Then I showed her the tooth. I expected her to cry, to run, to call someone. She did none of that. She said, "I remember too." She pulled up her sleeve and showed me the burns. He did it to both of us, didn't he? I nodded. And now he's in us. She didn't scream when I raised the hammer. She just closed her eyes. But I didn't swing, because the voice didn't speak. Because the hunger didn't rise. Because something broke, and I realized he was never in me. He was always in the house. The hatchling wasn't me. It was what he wanted me to become. I dropped the hammer, ran. Lucy ran too. We didn't speak. The house wailed behind us, the kind of sound only wood and blood can make together. I looked back once, flames, real this time. No ritual, no rebirth, just fire, eating everything he ever touched. We watched from the road as it fell. The windows screamed, the walls collapsed, and something else, not quite him, not quite me, crawled out. It didn't follow. It just watched and burned. We don't talk about the house now. Lucy and I rent a place in the city. Clean walls, quiet pipes, no shadows in the mirror. But sometimes I wake up with soot in my lungs, and I know the book of rotten things didn't end with fire. It ended with survival, and somewhere in the ash another seed waits.